Hey guys, I'm in the middle of putting on a Banks Monster Ram. And so far, I've gotten the electrical out the way. I took off the air horn, the stock one. You can see it's pretty sooty in there. So I'll be kind of curious what the other side looks like, but the bolt looks like it's still intact. But yeah, just plug that up. Looks like it's gonna be real fun to get back there. But yeah, here's the stock air horn. It's got a lot of oil on the side there, and some soot, but yeah, so that's what we're working on today. Just going ahead and trying to get everything taken care of, and I gotta crack these fuel lines next, so it should be a good time since half the motor's underneath the dash, so we'll get back to you. All right, so here's some tips on doing a 5th gen. The banjo bolt is back there that's different off the rail, and it's also a pain to get to that plug in the back for the fuel pressure sensor. But I think we could just take this plate off and not have to worry about taking it anymore, because that number 6 line with that plate covering it is a real pain to loosen. So I kind of just loosened the first one for the fuel rail and got it off, but really it gives me access to this whole plate. As you can see, there's a lot of carbon, or a lot of soot in this grid heater. So I tried wiggling it out, but it wasn't going to wiggle out, so I'm not going to fight it anymore and risk breaking a plug. I guess they're really hard to come by in their special order, so not gonna happen. So we're just gonna go ahead and take this plate out and go on. But yeah, there's definitely, I watched some videos on like 18 Cummins, and their banjo bolt was way different, their plug was different, and you could actually move the plug. But there's some fuel lines routed in the back that just doesn't make that rail too accessible. So we'll get back at you and we'll take a look at the new parts next. So I got the grid heater out. As you can see, I'm thankful that my bolt was still intact, but there's definitely a ton of soot in that bolt. And then on the top of this, there's soot. But on the 5th gens, this sensor here was screwed in to this back port, and you had to take the sensor out to get to this rail, to get the rail out far enough off to the side so it would clear this. But as you can see, there's a ton of oil and soot and shit in the bottom of this. So I'm gonna just get a rag in there and clean it up as good as I can. We'll put the new gasket on that Banks supplied us, and I'll show you that plate, and we'll catch back to you. But yeah, 5th gens are definitely different than the 13 through 18 that I saw videos on, because you're not going to get that fuel line nut cracked and loosened. And also that plug in the back, on the back of the fuel rail, is a real pain to try to take off. But I was able to work around it, because really you just need to get clearance to take this plate out. But it's looking better than it did an hour ago. But yeah, make sure you keep all the plugs on the fuel rails. I gotta put that one back on that one. But try to stay as clean as possible and not that dirty, or else you're gonna be out of fuel system. So we'll check back. So just a quick update. I was able to put the new plate on. I put the new fuel rails back on and buttoned up all the electrical. The only thing I have left to do is put that Monster Ram, bolt that up, and put the number 1 cylinder fuel line in, and then we'll see if she starts. But so far so good. It's a real pain in the ass though. I haven't found any tutorials on the 2020. It's just the 2018s, and the bolt patterns are different and the bolts are different, so it's been a little bit of a struggle. But yeah, got all the lines rerouted, all the plugs plugged in, so no more grid heater issues, potential issues. So it doesn't have that too much soot inside the intake, so that was nice. And if you didn't know, I got the revived CP3, so thanks to Mopar for warranting that. But yeah, everything is going kind of slow, but we're getting there, and I'll update you soon with the intake. So here's a quick mock-up of what it should look like when it's on. Looks pretty good, and I think I color matched my exhaust tip pretty well with this, so definitely add some oomph to the engine compartment. So like I said, we got my S&B cold air. Now we got this. Only thing left to do is the Banks boost tubes, and we'll see where we go from there. But hopefully it adds a little bit of power, or at least you can at least feel it at least. So we'll catch back with you when we get some more bolts in. So this is the finished product. I finally got everything bolted up. There's a lot of stuff in the 5th gens. They're a lot different from the 4th gens hooking it up, but hopefully we managed. I got the new dipstick, got the grid heater, power supply all bolted up. So now the next thing I gotta do is just start it up and pray there's no leaks in the fuel lines. So, but yeah, everything else looks good. So let's go see if we can start it up. Yeah, it started, thank God. So just some key notes on this install. If you can see, there's a bolt right below the vacuum port, which is a real pain in the ass to get to on a 5th gen. So take your time on that one. And a swivel, extensions, and just offset 6mm when you're dealing with these fuel lines. It's a good idea to mark the lines before you take them off with a marker, so you can try to put them back, or else you still need a fuel line socket that's special for these, so you can torque it down to 30 foot-pounds, which I didn't have, so I just made sure I marked the lines, and I lucked out and didn't have any leaks on startup. But really, I would plan for a full day's worth of work unless you do this often. I took my time and tried to stay clean, make sure you cap your ports for your fuel, because you don't want any debris to get inside. It costs you thousands of dollars to replace your whole fuel system. So be cleanly, take your time, and the Banks kit was pretty good. I mean, I wasn't missing any parts, and so I was pretty happy with that. One thing I need to do is put some heat shrink on this, which I just found where it was, so I'm gonna go do that. But besides that, I'll let you know in updates on how it's doing and see if any improvements or anything. But so this is the engine bay for now, the S&B I put on last week, and then the Monster Ram. So until I get a bigger turbo, I probably won't touch more else. Anything else in this engine compartment, unless I free up some money and put like a second gen swap on it. But besides that, hopefully it lasts another 100,000 miles, and we'll check back in the next one, bud. See ya.